So in this video, we're going to be talking about the 7th house ruler and which planet rules your 7th house. And this shows qualities of your relationships, especially to your significant others and to your best friends throughout life. The 7th house is about partnerships and one-on-one connections to people. So with that being said, first of all, we're going to go through each of the signs and what planet rules each sign. And then in the description, you can find the timestamps to see what this house ruler indicates about your love style and also just your style as a best friend. So it will really show kind of how your relationships are to friends, to like very close friends. And, people that play a significant role in your life and what qualities you guys experience in terms of your relationship. So with that being said, the first sign is Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. And so you can check the timestamp for Mars to see what qualities your relationships have. Next, we have Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Leo is ruled by the sun. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Libra is ruled by Venus. So if you have Libra in the 7th house, then look at the Venus timestamp. Scorpio is co-ruled by Mars, and it is in modern times right now it is ruled by Pluto. So you can look at both of those and they will show different aspects of your love style. Neither one is right over the other. It's gonna both be accurate. So that's the benefit of having two planets ruling a certain house. Gives you more insight. Sagittarius in the 7th house is ruled by Jupiter. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, but it is co-ruled by Saturn, which was the traditional ruler of Aquarius. So you can look at both of those timestamps to see which qualities of your love style. And both of them will be accurate. So neither one is more accurate than the other. They're just going to show different aspects, and it's just going to give you more insight. And that's the benefit of having two planets ruling your house. Pisces, the final sign, is ruled by Neptune. So check the timestamp. And with that being said, let's go ahead and explain what each of these indicates about your love style and your style as a best friend. So if the sun rules your 7th house, the things that you look for in your relationships is you look for pleasure and excitement and fun. And it indicates that you are an Aquarius ascendant. And when it comes to relationships, you really seek to give value to the other person and to entertain them. And also you look for entertainment. And pleasure and excitement are important for you when it comes to your love life or your relationship life or your dating life. And when it comes to your best friends as well, which can be shown by the 7th house, your best friends are just people that you have the most fun around. Those are the type of people that become your best friends. You guys are people that like to enjoy yourselves with others. And it's no surprise because Aquarius is the sign of friends, and it rules groups of people, it rules collectives. So you guys like to be part of a group a lot of times, and you guys are social beings. Now, also, the sun, which rules Leo, in this case, and Leo's in your 7th house, it's about ego. So something else about your relationships is that you give all of your attention to this person, and you like to be proud of who you date. And also, your relationship can become a part of your ego, especially if you are not conscious. And when it comes to your relationships, you can be proud of what you have with the other person. Whereas Aquarius by themselves, they tend to be more humble, and they tend to defer compliments, and they tend to defer praise to the group or to a larger collective of people. They don't like to be the center of attention, but when they are in a partnership, this is where they find a lot of their ego. So what will happen when you get in relationships is that you will get a stronger sense of ego, and your ego will be the group, which is you and the other person. And that basically sums up Leo in the 7th house, and if the sun rules your 7th house. So with Leo in your 7th house, you really seek to entertain the other person and to be interesting. And when you're dating somebody, or when you are with your best friend, you like to bring interesting things to their life, and you like to be an interesting character. You guys always are playful, perhaps because Leo is about play, or you just always want to have that upbeat energy. And so a lot of times relationships can take a lot of your energy when you have Leo in the 7th house. So you benefit from having a strong sun if you have Leo in the 7th house. But if you have like a weak sun, sometimes your relationships can drain you, and sometimes you just want to be more to yourself and take breaks from seeing the other person. Your relationships can be a little bit more detached in that sense, and you just kind of revolve around them when the time comes. But for the most part, you always feel like you need to have that energy to entertain them, or to be an interesting person, and to bring like pleasure to their life. And if your relationships lose that spark, then you tend to feel less interested, or you feel like you need to take a break from the person. Aquariuses can, notoriously be more detached in that sense. But you guys like to just have a lot of friends too, just a lot of different people to be around for that reason. So the next planet we're going to talk about is the moon. So if the moon rules your 7th house, what it indicates is that the people that you have your closest relationships to are simply the people that you are most comfortable around. And being comfortable around each other is the most important factor of your relationships. So if you think about your best friends as somebody with the 7th house in Cancer, a lot of times it's just a lot of the people that you feel the most comfortable around. Not necessarily the people that are the most exciting, or that are the most attractive when it comes to dating, or that boost your ego the most. It's more so people that you can feel comfortable around. And this is because the ascendant is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of responsibilities and discomfort, and being an example to other people, being a leader, being an authority. So a lot of times you guys are hard on yourselves. You guys like to work hard. You guys have high ambitions. And when it comes to how you're seen by other people, you hold yourself to high standards. And so you can put on a facade for other people, and you control your emotions. You never let yourself slip. So the people that you end up building relationships to, unconsciously, you tend to gravitate toward people where you don't have to put that facade as much, and where you just feel naturally more comfortable around each other. So with that being said, that leads us to the next planet that I'm going to cover, which is Mercury. So if you have Mercury ruling your 7th house, or Gemini in the 7th house, it could also be Virgo in your 7th house. This is about communication. So when it comes to your relationships, communication is what ties your relationships in this case. And the people that you end up in relationships with, and also your best friends, because a relationship doesn't have to be romantic in the sense that I'm talking about. Just people that you have close ties to and have a one-on-one connection are the people that you communicate the most with. That's what led you to connect to this individual. So a lot of times with Gemini in the 7th house, when it comes to your relationships, like, you don't like to be tied down. You don't like to commit yourself and have responsibilities. So the people that you end up getting close to just happen to be the people that you end up talking to the most. And it's a very organic way of relating. So your relationships develop very organically if you have Gemini in the 7th house. And when it comes to Virgo in the 7th house, the people that you end up having your closest connections to are the people that communicate to you the most. So maybe you don't necessarily start the conversations, but you get a lot of info about them and they talk to you about themselves, because Virgo is about receiving information, and it's about observations, and it's about understanding the depths of somebody else, especially their psychology. So a lot of times with Virgo in the 7th house, your relationships develop when somebody tells you about themselves. And you could be more of an introverted individual, especially because the ascendant would be in Pisces. But basically, the more that people talk to you and tell you about themselves and feel comfortable around you, that's the type of people that you get the closest to. It's people that confide in you. So that explains Mercury in the 7th house, which is about communication. Now, also, you tend to look for humor as well if you have Mercury ruling your 7th house when it comes to your relationships. So the people that you guys have the most interesting conversations will end up being your partners, not necessarily the people that provide you the most security or other things like ego gratification, like other signs in the 7th house. It's more so the people that talk to you the most when you have Mercury ruling your 7th house. So next up, we're going to talk about Venus. So if you have Venus ruling your 7th house, what ties your relationships is material things and security, as well as value, what you can get out of the other person. And also having common objectives or common values. Now, what happens when you guys get into relationships and you have Venus in the 7th house is that your finances will increase and your financial stability will increase and your material well-being increases, as well as your value, because Venus rules your 7th house. And, you could either have Taurus in the 7th house, and that would make you a Scorpio rising. And the other sign you could have is Libra, which would make you an Aries rising. So generally speaking, both of these signs that you guys are, either Aries or Scorpio, are ruled by Mars, which is about accomplishing things, and it's about objectives and desires. So you tend to get into relationships with people that add value to your life or that have skills that can contribute to your goals or to your desires. And you guys tend to create power couples or power groups or power friendships where both you and the other person have a similar goal or have even the similar financial goals. Now, when it comes to your best friends, when you have Venus ruling your 7th house, it's going to be the people that cooperate and help you with your goals. And it's a lot of times people that also give you resources or give you access to resources, especially if you have Taurus in the 7th house. A lot of times when Venus rules your 7th house, you like to depend a lot on your significant others, or you borrow a lot of their money, or you guys share resources. Now, if you have Libra in the 7th house, you tend to get along with people that have the same objectives as you, or that are supportive and cooperate and help you achieve your goals, because you're a self-directed individual and you need somebody that is agreeable and cooperative and compatible. So you get along with people that are very charming, very easy to get along with, very friendly or passive or nice if you have Libra in the 7th house, and people that will allow you to take charge, and that will help you rather than get in the way or compete with you or try to direct you or control you. So next up, we have Mars and Pluto. I'm going to put both of these in the same category because Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, is also ruled by Mars. And Mars is all about desires and ambition. So when you get into a relationship, your ambition increases. Your partner tends to motivate you and push you to do more things and to get off of your ass and to accomplish goals. Because a lot of times with Scorpio in the 7th house, or if you have Aries in the 7th house, you can be more of a passive individual. You're ruled by Venus, so you like to do things that are pleasurable. And especially if you are a Libra ascendant, you tend to get more guidance and direction when you have a partner or a teammate. And you like to cooperate or help others rather than do things on your own. But if you're a Taurus, you also gain more motivation and direction when you have a partner, because you tend to be more stagnant when you are on your own when it comes to your ambition. You tend to be content with what you have. And Taurus is the sign of wealth. So a lot of times you guys have everything that you need. You guys also develop a lot of security on your own. You guys are very self-reliant. And as the sign of value and resourcefulness, when you guys get into a partnership, it will only push you guys even further as Tauruses, because Tauruses, they can be very successful. But when it comes to relationship, they like to be a resource to the other person. They like to be valuable. They like to contribute. So since you guys have Mars ruling your 7th house, since you guys have Scorpio in the 7th house, this is all about motivation. So when you're in a teammate situation or with a best friend collaborating, or when you're with a partner and you guys have similar goals, it really motivates you as a Taurus, and you will tend to accomplish more goals that you have. But generally speaking, you guys do well as individuals too, because Tauruses are very self-reliant. But if I had to sum it up, when you have Mars ruling your 7th house, you tend to create, power couple situations, and you guys gain a lot of direction and ambition when you guys are in relationships. Outside of relationships, you may be a little bit more passive, a little bit more lazy. You may enjoy yourself and seek more pleasure in life than to accomplish your highest goals. And that sums up Mars ruling your 7th house. So next up, we have Jupiter. So if you have Sagittarius in the 7th house, what creates your closest relationships is experiences. And if you think of your best friends, it will tend to be the people that you had the most experiences together. You guys had the most laughs together and did the most adventurous things together. Those are the people that you form your closest relationships to. And also people that expand your horizons or expand your mind. Also people that lead you to take more risks, because Jupiter is about luck, and it rules Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is about risks. And when you have Sagittarius in the 7th house, this makes you a Gemini ascendant. And Geminis can overthink, because Gemini is about the mind. And they like to process everything through their mind. And Sagittarius is the opposite. They don't believe in thinking everything through. They believe in following your heart and following your passions. And so those types of people that allow you to experience more things and get outside of your box, your mental box, or your box of familiarity, those tend to be your closest friends, or also, your relationships. Now, when it comes to relationships, also, your mindset tends to become more broad or open when you are in a partnership. And you tend to have more faith and have a more strong sense of direction. So a lot of times you can lose your sense of direction when you lose a relationship to certain people that played an important role in your life, especially with Jupiter ruling your 7th house. Now, also, you tend to get into relationships with people that have a similar thought process or beliefs, or that you guys agree on philosophical topics. And when it comes to your style as a lover or as a best friend, you tend to guide the other person. You like to give them guidance and advice, because Sagittarius and Jupiter are about guidance figures. And as the sign of intellect, you like to help the other person using your own ideas and your own intellect, and you like to contribute to them that way. So next up, we have Saturn and Uranus in ruling the 7th house. So if you have Capricorn or Aquarius in the 7th house, this will resonate. But first, we're going to start with Saturn. Then I'll talk about Uranus. But the reason I group these is because Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn. It's ruled by Uranus, but traditionally it was ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of responsibility. So when you have Saturn ruling your 7th house, work and responsibility comes with your relationships. So a lot of times you find yourself taking care of the needs of somebody else, and dedicating your energy to them. And so when you care about somebody, or when somebody plays a significant role in your life, or when you get into a relationship, all of a sudden you tend to have a lot more work when it comes to especially dealing with that other person. Now, the other thing, though, is that Saturn rules the 10th house, and it rules the sign of Capricorn, which is about our public image, our reputation, and our status. So when you guys get into a relationship, or when you even have like a best friend, these people become a part of your status or your public image. So everybody knows about who you're dating. So especially with Leos that have Aquarius in the 7th house, you guys can display this this person, or display your relationship, and this contributes to that. And it can become a sense of pride for you, or it can really just be part of your image. And that's because Saturn rules your 7th house. Now, the signs that have Saturn ruling the 7th house is Cancer, because you guys have Capricorn in the 7th house. And then there's Leo, because you guys have Aquarius in the 7th house. And specifically with Cancers, and if you're a Leo, that's very close to the Cancer cusp as well. Cancer is about comfort, and it's about needs, and it's about emotions and being fulfilled and being comfortable. And so as Cancers, you guys understand the feeling of need, and you guys understand how to care for others, and you guys like to be nurtured, and that's part of your love style. So when it comes to your relationships, you guys tend to end up with friends that you guys care for each other. You guys sacrifice your own comfort to care for the other person, and they do the same because you guys appreciate that more so than other signs. Like, for example, Aquarius, which would seek more so somebody that's entertaining or pleasurable, or that will excite them, but not necessarily give them comfort or emotional fulfillment. But when you have Saturn ruling your 7th house, you try to look for somebody that's going to take care of you and that you can take care of them because you value those things. And so also something that comes with your relationships when you have Saturn ruling the 7th house is that you tend to look for reliability, somebody that you can depend on, somebody that is reliable and is responsible, because Saturn rules responsibilities and work. So that basically sums up Saturn in the not in the 7th house, but Saturn being the ruler of your 7th house. And it's really just about your status. Like, everybody will tend to know that the person is your best friend, or they will tend to know that this person, that you're in a relationship with this other person, and it kind of becomes a part of your public identity or your social identity when you have Saturn in the Saturn ruling the 7th house. Whereas, other signs, they might not have that if they have it in the 7th house. Also, it can increase your success when you get in relationships, or you guys can build something together, because Saturn is about success. So your relationships tend to make you more successful. Now, the next sign that we're going to talk about is Aquarius in the 7th house. So if you have Uranus ruling your 7th house, and again, if you have Uranus ruling your 7th house, this means that you have 2 planets ruling it. And so this just gives us more insight. Both of these are different aspects of your relationships. I wouldn't say one is more accurate than the other, but Uranus is about individuality and uniqueness. So your relationships tend to be very unconventional, and you seek somebody that is unique, or who participates in your own unique interests, because Aquarius can be about interests and niches, and it's also about group work. So you tend to get in relationships with people that participate in your life and that are supportive of you, and they don't really have such a big ego, or they don't clash with you, or they don't try to compete with you. Those tend to end up being your best friends, and also the people that you get along best with. Because Aquarius is very supportive, and they like to team up. They like to group up, especially. And also, when it comes to your relationships, both individuals, yourself included, tend to be more autonomous and self-reliant, because Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, is about being self-reliant and being an individual. And so you guys really tend to carry your own weight in the relationship, and you you tend to like to get along with people that carry their own weight as well, but where you guys can collaborate and where you guys are friends before anything. So there's not this attachment or this this desire to utilize each other for reasons other than just enjoying each other's company. So you tend to also get in friendships with people that are more so like to see you shine, and they are supportive of you, and they help contribute to your goals. And this is important as a Leo ascendant, because a lot of times you guys carry a very strong energy and a strong personality, and either you will get along with somebody or you would tend to not get along with them at all when you're a Leo. And so it's important for you that the people in your life and that your friends, your best friends, are willing to allow you to be a star, really, and shine. So with that being said, that basically wraps up this section. The last planet that we're going to cover is Neptune. So if you have Neptune ruling your 7th house, or you have Pisces in the 7th house, when it comes to your relationships, you tend to become best friends with people that you can be just how you are when you're alone. Like, just you can act just like you would when you're alone. That's what Pisces is about. It's about solitude. So when you have the sign of solitude in the 7th house, you get along with people where you guys are together, but you guys are one. Or you're together, but it's just like if you were alone. Like, you can act just how you would. Also, you need somebody that is cooperative and that merges well with you, and that is accepting of all your different particularities. And when it comes to love as well, you tend to be compassionate and overly self-sacrificing, though, because Pisces is about compassion, and it can also be about victimhood or being idealistic. And for the most part, as Virgo ascendants, it's very hard to take advantage of you guys. You guys are very aware of the details of things and particularities. You guys notice a lot of things. You guys are tend to be skeptical in nature. But when it comes to your relationships, it really changes you, because you really let your guard down. And sometimes you can be too compassionate, too self-sacrificing even. And in love, you allow the other person to take advantage of you. That's kind of your love style, and you really give yourself to them. And sometimes you can idealize your partner, because Neptune and Pisces are about idealism. But if we really had to sum it up in a simple term, when you have Pisces in your 7th house and you have Neptune ruling the 7th house, you tend to be, if we think of your best friends, it would tend to be the people that you feel most comfortable with, in the sense that it's just like if you were alone. You just act the same as if you would be alone. And those are going to be your best friends, rather than necessarily people that are the most exciting, or the ones that are most talkative, or ones that provide you the most material things, as with other signs. It's more so now about harmony for you. So also, you tend to be very harmonious in your relationships. You tend to kind of be less picky, less particular, less discerning as well. Sometimes you can be blinded in love with this placement. So that basically sums up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, or it resonated, and you saw yourself and you saw your friendships or your relationships in this video in any way, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.